The video for March the 22nd, 2017 is entitled Wage Peace, End War. The brainwashed masses will not comprehend what is happening on this planet until the mainstream media ends its marriage to the deep state that controls it. The deep state, by which I mean the military-industrial complex, has been run by a demonically inspired rogue element for a very long time. Call it the Illuminati, the House of Rothschilds, or simply the cabal. The asylum called Earth is infested with entities that have inverted common sense. Everything we've been told by the establishment is inside out, upside down, and backwards. The fake monetary system is the means and method of this control grid. Wealth equals power. Global prosperity and real freedom and justice cannot occur as long as this false paradigm continues. In fact, if it continues, human life on Earth will cease. As I see it, it's time to begin waging peace and ending war. Our very lives depend on it. Someone suggested to me that I was crazy when I indicated that Russia is the most powerful nation on earth. Well, Russia is run by a man who had a spiritual awakening, which is what the last video was about, somewhat. I mean, it was mentioned in the last video. Putin had an aha moment, if you will, when he and others in the Russian establishment realized that they were being manipulated and controlled by forces that, again, think that the most important thing on the planet is to amass wealth, because wealth equals power. And so the whole system, they try to take over all of our governments and to instigate wars, because they realized that financing wars was very profitable. You would destroy things and then pay to rebuild them, and you would keep the system going ad infinitum, continuing forever and ever and ever was their plan, and they would control it all. And these are not people who have our human best interests at heart. These are people who are pedophiles. That has been coming out very plainly over the past months. And not only pedophiles, but mass murderers. They have, there's some of the stuff that has been reported, that has been going on, not just for the last few centuries, but for millennia. I mean, these demonically inspired individuals thrive. In fact, they can't survive unless they steal the innocence, drink the blood, and continue their charade. And all of the religions have been tainted with this, so that we don't even expect, many people in the Christian community, for example, don't even expect that we're going to have peace on earth, because the only way we're going to have peace is to escape earth, is to be raptured somewhere else and taken to a different dimension somewhere else. And then we can have peace. But no, we won't. No, we won't. I'm telling you, unless the change happens within us, it doesn't matter where we go, there we are. We're still going to have the same mindset, the same problems that we're facing now. We're going to have it in whatever realm we go to. It doesn't change just because we've changed location. Wherever you go, there you are. And you don't transform anything unless you do it from the inside out, which is why our system on earth has to change from the inside out. We the people have to wake up. That seems to be happening to some degree. And we need to take back our power and stop the feeding frenzy of these demonic beings that thrive on stealing life from others. They thrive on murder. There is no life that comes from death. Life begets life, not death. That's a backwards paradigm that has been instilled on us by our religions, and we need to wake up. Now, when I say it's been instilled on us by our religions, I talked again yesterday, second time, to the pastor who lives right at the church, right behind where I live. And I use their parking lot during the times that they don't have their services, because it's convenient, and I don't have a parking space in the parking lot of the building that I live in. So it's convenient. But anyway, I talked to him, and to him, the most important thing in the world is the Bible. The Bible has been doctored. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike the Bible. I've probably read it more than 99-point-something% of the people on the planet. I mean, I spent my whole youth into my 30s reading the Bible through every year. From the time I was like 12, 13 years old, I was reading the Bible. And it's something that has been well established. But I've also read other inspired writings. And what I get from the Bible and other inspired writings is the way to peace, again, and I'm going to keep repeating it, is to love one another. By this shall men know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. If you love God and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the key. That's the foundation. That's the central point. Not some book, not some religion, not some ideology. All these things do is separate us. And as long as we keep separating ourselves from one another, we will never connect to the God or to the spirit of life that is within us all, regardless of our religions, regardless of our race, regardless of our nationalities, regardless of any of the things that we have been instilled, that has been instilled in us to divide us and to separate us. Then we can find unity if we will but love. We have to start with love. Now that sounds so simplistic, because it is simple. It's not complicated. The more complicated anything is, the more incorrect it is, because complication isn't part of the equation. It's simple. 1 + 1 = 2, and sometimes 1 + 1 = 3, or triplet, or twins, or triplets, or quadruplets, or whatever. But we have to go back to the basics. And the basics involve a different mindset than the one that has been impressed upon us all of our lives. We have to stop allowing money to control and be the operating motive of our world. Because until we stop that, we're not going to be able to wage peace at the level that's going to transform our lives and human society itself. This is what has to be done. And yes, we have to understand what's going on. We can't put our heads in the sand and pretend the things that are happening aren't really happening. We can't turn off the negative and only pay attention to the positive. That's nonsense. We have to look at the whole thing, because it's all one. It's not two, it's one. And the awakening, I'm praying that the awakening accelerates, and I believe it will. And let's all get on board and do the best we can. Thank you for listening, and namaste.